and welcome to the main cave. Now in today's video we are going to be going from this to this. Now the reason that I wanted to add RGB is because I want to squeeze every ounce of FPS out of the PS5. More RGB, more FPS. And doing it is a pretty simple task. It just requires a bit of kit and a few minutes to sit down and actually get on and do it. As ever, a link to all the chapters are in the description below, so you can skip to the part which is more useful for you. What you need for this build is two things: a set of PS5 plates and some RGB strips made specifically for the PS5. And I've put both links where you can purchase them in the description below. The plates can be pretty much any that take your fancy really. I went for these as I like the rounded edge. They're in a matte black with two vents either side, which works surprisingly well as you can definitely feel air being pushed out from them. There are dozens to colour to choose from in this style or others, so it's just a case of shopping around to find one that you like. But I'll leave a link in the description of the exact ones that I bought, as I think they are excellent quality. The plates came well packaged in a non-branded brown box. Inside they were individually packaged in bubble wrap and also came with a small instruction sheet. Once out, it feels solid as if they were an official plate. It is on the expensive side to other panels out there, but the quality shows it's worth the price. And with the extra vents, this always seems to bump the price of these plates up a touch. For the next part, you will need a specific PS5 RGB strip. There are a few online ranging in price, and seeing as they seem to be on the surface no difference between any of them, I just went for the cheapest, which also happened to be one what looked like from the description the longest in length. The strips also arrived in a nondescript brown box. Inside was two packages, one for the lights and the other for the remote. If you've ever bought any RGBs off Amazon, you'll be familiar with this type of remote. It controls speed, colours, modes, etc., all of which I'll go through at the end of the video. The lights themselves seem to be brilliant quality, very bright. You're pretty much your standard RGB strip. I was very pleased with the length of cable from the RGB to the USB plug. This is quite long at nearly 1 metre, meaning I can plug it down in between the cabinet with ease, freeing up a PS5 USB port. The RGB strips themselves individually are 50 centimetres long. Also inside were two sets of wet wipes and dry wipes for when the installation process, and a small instruction sheet. So once you've got everything, grab yourself a coffee, sit down at your desk and let's get through and fit it all. First up, you'll want to take off both panels of your PS5. You do this by firstly taking off the stand if you use one and laying the PS5 on its side. Then starting with either side, pull up on the top flap and push it downward toward the bottom of the PS5. The flap should then just come unclipped. Do this for the other flap on the other side, same as before, lift, push, unclip. Once you have them both off, it's probably a good idea now just to give it a bit of a dust. Make sure that the fan is clear of any dust. If you've never done this before, you'll be surprised at how much dust actually is caught up in there. So once the panels are off, we will start with the RGB strip. Unpack it and you'll see it has two strips joined at one end with a single USB. From here, there are two ways of doing this mod, internally or externally. I will show you both ways, but personally, I prefer the external way as I feel it gives a better, more uniform result. If you have to do it internally, the memory slot inside actually blocks some of the RGB. Having said that, it's completely your choice, so here's how to do both, starting with internally. So first up, give your PS5 a wipe with the wet and dry wipes to make sure it's nice and clean. Then all you need to do is feed both strips through the vent at the back. Once they are fed through, stick them down the edge where the grill is all the way down the front. If you want to light up the fan, if you have vents like mine on the panels, then just a few strips around the fan. But for me, I want RGB all the way down the front. To do this, unpeel the blue strip and starting with the side with the disc slot, feed it through the top vent and work all the way down. Once you're about halfway down, you need to make sure that it feeds towards the front of the console so it doesn't block the side panel from fitting. Now onto the other side. This is the one with the logo and it's exactly the same process. Feed it through the top vent and stick it down. This time, once you get to the bottom of the vent, it's a good idea to feed it back through the last vent hole and continue sticking this, again to stop the side panel from being blocked. Now put the panels back on, lay the PS5 on its side and take the panel you need for that upper side, lay the panel on it until it gets seated, then push it up towards the top of the PS5 and it clicks into place. Do that for both sides. Next up is my preferred method, and that is doing it externally. And what we're going to do is going to stick them to the outer edge of the inside of the PS5 plates. So get one of your panels and stick the RGB to the outer edge of the inside of the panel, making sure that it's well stuck down and that you are indeed hugging the front edge of the panel. Once you're done, move this to one side and do the same with the other panel. And that's literally it. Job's done. So to put the panels back on, all you need to do is carefully put one on, seat it on and push it up towards the PS5 till it clicks. Then carefully spin it over and do the same with the other. This really is a much easier way and for me a better looking way. The only issue is if you have a dark coloured panel you will be able to see the RGB strips when it's off, but literally that's it. Once done, put on your stand or whatever you use and put your PS5 in its usual place it lives, and then it's time to sort out the USB. If you want the USB plugged directly into the PS5, you could just leave it and tidy up some cables, or if you're like me, want it somewhere else, get it plugged into your smart plug. If you are using the PS5 port, it may be of use of going into the power settings. The menu here is changing the power to the USB. Set it to 3 hours so the lights power off themselves. It's up to you how you want to make them work, but as before, I have mine plugged into a smart plug so I can access it by other means independently of the PS5 and turn it off and on as I need. You do have a remote to turn it off and on, but it's more convenient for me to turn it off automatically every night. Now we can switch on and stand back for the full effect. Here we have a custom PS5 mod with new plates and RGB. Next up, I'm going to spend a few moments just going through all the different modes on the RGB so you can see what colours there are. Enjoy the gallery and until the next video. Bye bye.